Hey ho, a wonderful good evening, good afternoon, or wherever you are, wonderful good day. I hope you're doing good. I had a great sunny day. We have spring feelings, I guess. It was here in Germany a wonderful sunny blue day. What a great feeling and the best feeling ever for our human. Hi Phil, hi Vincenzo. I hope you're doing good and out to all the other one. Stefan, wonderful good evening. It's such a great pleasure for me to have this webinar by Admiral Markets together with you, and thanks to my colleague from Admiral Markets to open this webinar. Greetings over there. So, master the markets, that means that we want to close the gap between education and practice. That means master the market. So, but first of all, it's your webinar. So I have the chat is open. Type in the chat box if you have any questions to me. I'm not the important one here. You are the important one in that webinar. I want to share my experience with you, and I want to tell everything to you about the markets and how you can become successful in trading. And that's the most important point, because trading is not the most important thing in our life. You, as a man, as a woman, you are more than important. Your friends, your family, your healthness, your mental fitness, it's all the other things are more important than trading, because trading is based on rules and on probabilities, and that's the challenge we have to cope in our mind. So if you have any questions, type it in chat box. Let's talk about trading. Okay, master the markets. Great pleasure for me, for you as well. That's the risk disclaimer. If you are a beginner, please start with a demo account at Admiral Markets. And the trading with financial instruments offered by Admiral Markets carries a high level of risk, which is not suitable for all investors due to their complex nature. And of course, this presentation and accompanying video should not be taken as advice for investing, as they only represent the personal opinion of the authors like me. Okay, then since August 2018, we have the new regulation about the European Union differs retail and professional clients. I guess you know that. In the meantime, and that's the difference. Earlier, before ESMA, we had a margin about 600 in DAX 30. Now we have $3,330 or euros, and you can see now we have a little bit more, and we have the we have the leverage restrictions to 130 in Forex majors and 1 to 30 in other currency pairs. So that's the options you have. You can choose between retail and professional clients. And of course, Admiral Markets, the best broker, because we have the typical spread of 0.8 points due to the main trading hours and no minimum stop distances. And my English is like German, but I'll have do a lot of efforts that you can understand me in a right way. Okay. Let's start. One world global offers. You can choose, you can decide in which country you want to open your account by Admiral Markets. And this is the most important slide, guys. That success, is not a fantasy. It's a formula. And one of my experience about the last 20 years, because I make trading around 20 years right now, I figured out my trading as easy as possible, like the shortcut KISS. Keep it simple and stupid. Because why is this so important? Because trading is a big challenge. Trading as itself is not a rocket science. The real challenge is taking place in your mind, because trading is completely different how we educated in life and what we learned in life. So keep it simple and stupid. Which rules you use for your trading, it must be as easy as possible, because You need to focus on your mental fitness. You need to focus on the most important things in trading, and that is stick to the rules. So I use this trading approach, the Dow theory. I talk about the Dow house setup, the real or the correct Dow, the correct know-how about the Dow theory. And you know, a trend continuation is more likely than a trend break. And that's the reason we want to make trades outcoming of the correction. Like we want to start the trades in the accumulation phase, that we can start the trading deep in the correction, that we can continue, that we can ride that trade through the trend continuation. That's the most important thing. And then you can see at the numbers, we have a probability for a trend continuation. That means that our trade is in the plus, and that we have a winner is almost around about 22%. If we make sure that the bigger trend is running in the same direction, or we have a support there by daily chart, for example. And that's our rules we're working with. Rule number 5 to 7 means where we are, because we work with price, we work with fair value zones, with price zones. You will see it in you will see it in the chart right now. And we work with Fibonacci and this market profile, and we always have a look at the bigger picture, because that we will find there a support by trend, by divergence, or by resistor support. And rule number 1 to 4 means how we can get inside of the trade. First rule, that's the most important rule. Valid trend is needed. We need a valid trend. No trend, no trade. Then we need a young trend, and as I said, we want to trade out coming off the correction zone. That means we need a correction at least 38% of the last movement, and then in the correction zone we wait for a balanced candle. That's the reason why we work with Heikin-Ashi version, because it's a trend measure indicator. So with that in our mind, let's switch to the charts and have an outlook and a little bit look at the charts, how we can figure out our trades. Let's start with the working trades, or with the running trades right now. And I'm engaged in that trade, Aussie Swiss franc. This trade is encouraged us since a couple of weeks right now. First of all, you can see I always stuck to my rules, always. And I always stick to my rules every day. You can see that was the trend. Rule number 1, we need a trend. So latest at that point, at that trend continuation, up to 0.72606, we had a trend. Then we had to wait for the correction. Then we had the correction. We made a trend. And then you can see there was the balance candle. That means all rules fit at that moment. That was the reason why we got inside of the trade, and we expect, or we count on that point that we assume that the trend will continue up to the point of control on the upper side here. So at the moment, you see the price is very weak of the Aussie dollar. We had falling prices. It's a loser. We are very close to the 0.3. That means there is placed our stop, and that means it will be a loser. Doesn't matter. It's just a trade. It not means my life. I had count my management before I started the trade. So, and I always have 50-50, or in our case, we have the probabilities of almost 72% of trading, but as you can count by yourself, 72% is not 100%. There doesn't exist a setup in trading which with 100%. Even if there would exist such a trade or such a setup with 100%, we cannot make a trade, because this trading wouldn't exist anymore. So only probabilities. And as you know, that's the challenge in our trading. We have to stick to the rules, and then we have to accept we have to accept the results, because the market decides every time how much money we will get from the market. And in this case, in Aussie Swiss franc, maybe it will be a loser. But it's not over right now. It's not over right now, because the trade is over when we reached our stop. Not yet. Everything can happen in the next days. And that's one of the next rules, not placed on my paper on the rules, but that is an unwritten rule in my DAO community. And if you are interested of my DAO community, you can switch to my homepage if you want. Let me show you. It's only a little bit busy. Come on, what's now? DAO. So here we are. And here we go. So it exists in English as well. Here you can see. So come on, let's switch. Let's switch, not switch. Oh, that's the presentation effect always. Okay, it exists in English as well. And here you can see everything, whatever you want. So let's see in another way. Here, that's great. Look at this one. So here we are. So there you can switch. I hope so. Yeah, it works right now. You look at this one. Here's the homepage in English, DAO-trading.com. And here you can see, Julius is browsing. That's great. So you can see everything. And that's the interesting point. Here you can see we have the trading statistic here, because that's the result of my DAO community, because we are around about 106 people in my DAO community, and there you can see the average, you can see the highest profit and my own profit here and the total profit of the community, and you can see we are really successful, and in average we have more than 10% per trader. And that's not about me, guys. I'm not an important guy here. It's only about the traders. And my job is to lead and to guide the people. That's my job. And very soon, I extend my job to Europe. Big project ahead, guys. Be excited. So excited. I'm so excited today because I signed my contract today. It's a really big announcement, because I have the permission to extend my DAO community to every single country in complete Europe. What a big project. I'm so happy to give that announcement in the next couple of weeks. Be excited, of course, and we will see what will happen in the next weeks and months. So, but that is one of our unwritten rules. Never intervene into a trade. Never. You have one job. Stick to the rules every time. And then the market will decide how much money you will get. And I can show you another example, because you see we have another running trade here in Swiss franc, Japanese yen. Look at this one. Look at this fucking trade. Look at this one. That's the result of the others on the other side, when you learn to never intervene into a trade. Look at this one. It's amazing. Look at this one. More than 100 pips in the meantime right now. Because you see, we stuck to the rules. The same procedure. Look at this one. We stuck to the rules. I draw it for you right now. Look at this one. Let me show you. We had, let's see, movement, start here. Movement, correction. Movement, then we had a trend. Then we had the correction, and you can see at least 86% of Fibonacci. And then we had our balance candle. Look at this one. That was the expert advisor signal. If you want, the expert advisor make this signals, these rules automatically. If you want to get a trial version, you can order that on my homepage in the EA row. There you can try it for 2 or for 3 or 4 weeks. this expert advisor, because this expert advisor will support you in trading and with automatically transformation the rules into the chart. So, and you can see here the green arrow here was the signal. There we got inside in a trade, and you know, red to red, blue to blue, green to green, the first target got over. Here we had 86, the first target were placed at 180% of Fibonacci, the extended version here right now. There we got, we took half of the position out, then we were safe in that trade, and then you can see the market. We let run the trade, and we trailed the stop always below the 0.3 here. Now you can see what happened here right now. We are so far away in the plus. And let me ask you something. And type in the chat box the answer, please. A little bit work with me. Do you really mean that this kind of trading is easy? To hold out, to keep that emotions inside, to control myself, to never intervene. Do you really think this is easy? Type in the chat box, yes or no. Type in the chat box, come on. Come on, a little bit movement, guys. What do you think? It's not entertainment here. A little bit entertainment, but you have to work with me. What do you think? It's easy or not? Type in the chat box, yes or no, yes or no. Yes or no. Thanks, Thomas. Thanks, Phil. Thanks, Vincenzo. Thanks, Yanis. Most of you will say, no, of course not. Yeah, Yanis, thank you very much. So, true, absolutely true. It's not easy. But let me ask you another question. Do you think it's more easy or it's easier to take such or to make such trades with a community, or it is easier to make it alone if you are sitting in front of your PC, or you have a coach or a community around you that everybody makes the same trade like you? What do you think? It is easier, you have a community around you or not? I guess it's easier, because that's my own better with other people. That's right, Phil. Absolutely. Absolutely. Because it's always easier to trade with a community, because you can ask someone, you can talk to each other, you can talk to each other when it's difficult. Oh, the stop, now I should go out of the trade, or should I let it run that trade? Together, it's always easier. That's the reason why I created and founded for 3 years, almost 3 years ago, that DAO community. And you see the result on my homepage, and that's really easy. And this trade is one of the best examples how you can become successful in trading. Because you see, we don't have to do anything. We took out of the half of the position out of the market, and the market decides the rest of the position. And you can see we started at, let's see, here 110.334, and now we are 111.75. So that means 150 pips in front right now. 150 pips with one standard lot, and with a normal leverage of 1 to 30 or 1 to 20, we have more. With one standard lot, we have $1,500. In a time, we started at the 12th of March. We started last week on Tuesday. We started 1 week. It's amazing. And what you have to do? Nothing. Stick to the rules. Stick to the rules. Stick to the rules. No more and no less. And now the market will decide. And maybe we will see a new high right now in the next hours. Then I can At that moment, we can trail the stop the next 0.3. At that moment, we will have a close below that point here. And as long as that doesn't happen, we have to fix it here. But at that moment, we will see the next high above that 0.2 here. Then we can trail the stop closer to the current price right now. We are more than safe. But we never intervene into the trade. You will be surprised how often the market will give you more money than you expected when you did the trade, when you started the trade. It's really often the case that you will be surprised. Okay, that's one of the examples. It's a working trade right now, and let's see the other chances we prepared last week. Aussie New Zealand dollar. Yeah, you know, we want to have a look at the daily chart, and you see we have a downtrend right now, and it doesn't work that we see that the stabilization here. We draw that rectangle here, but now we have to switch it here a little bit bigger here, larger here. So you can see we have a support here, and maybe we will see here there's stabilization here right now. That means in daily chart that we can have a look in hourly chart that we will see only long. You can see is the expert advisor. We said only long situation here, because I don't have a long trade right now. At the moment, I have a short trade, but we have to look for a long trade. And maybe the positive thing, we are in a green zone. That means we have a lot of space up to the point of control, the fairest price. And so we have to wait for a long trend. Let me draw it for you. Maybe this one, movement, correction, movement, and then the next correction, then we can go up. So that we have to wait for. Don't leave money on the table. That's really true. Oh, that's right. So next one, Euro, British pound, you can see. But here we are already in the red zone. That means we don't have a chance to make a trade here. Right now we have to cancel it because we are already in the red zone here. We can put it out from, we can delete it from our watch list here. And the next one, British pound, Australian dollar. We are in the upper green zone. We want to go back to the fairest price, to the point of control. That's the red zone here. Now we don't have maybe we have, let's trade it by ourselves. I see it a little bit different here. That's the technical system here, or the expert advisor. I see that movement, correction, and you can see we couldn't have close here. So that means that we didn't have a trend continuation at that point here. So we could see we had an extension of the correction zone, and now we have a trend continuation. And now we have a correction zone from this point up to the last 0.3 here. That's the last correction zone. And now you can see we have a correction, and we can measure it with Fibonacci, because we have rules, and we need a correction at least 38%. So measure it from the last correction point down to the last move point, the last 0.2, and now you can see it was only a spike. A spike, a little bit up, more than 38%. We need a close above 38%, but at that moment we will see that. Then the next rule comes in our mind. Next rule means we have to wait for a balance candle, and then we can make a trade down. Not yet, so that's the reason why we still let it on our watch list, British pound, Australian dollar. That's really, really important. The next one, British pound, US dollar. And we have a rate decision at 7 o'clock German time about the Federal Reserve. And here you can see it's almost over this trading chance because we are already in, so let's see, we are already in the red zone. That means we don't make trades inside of the red zone. Never, because it means we already have a fair price right now. Even the point of control is a little bit lower, but we don't make trades because the probabilities are less than 50%. And then they can go to the casino in Las Vegas, but it makes no sense to make trades inside of the red corrections. And you see, always out from the green zone back to the point of control. That's the rules. So we can delete it from the list. Okay, let's see how many trades we can make, and let's have a little bit look let's have a little bit look at the trading, at the charts, and we want to start with the Dow Jones here right now. And you can see with my community, we make since this week we started with live trading in 1 minute, so we make day trading as well from Monday to Friday. In DAX in the morning in 1 minute, and in Dow Jones in the afternoon, German time of course. We have a special setup since this week, the opening setup, and during the rest of the day we always try to make a trade with the trend. Of course, you could see we had one shot this morning, and this was a loser because the trend didn't continue to the upper side, and now it's over for today because we expect a trade decision at 7, so it makes no sense there. But of course, a little bit bigger, that's the point here. You can see actually the price, look at this one, struggled with the point of high here. You can see it. It's almost a trend. So that's one of the exercises. You should train that every day. You should train to figure out the leading trend. So what's the leading trend here right now? I will draw it for you that you can train your eyes for that special picture. That's the point of master the markets. We want to train, we want to close the gap between education and live trading, or the market or practice. So let's draw it. Movement, correction, movement, correction, movement, correction, movement, correction. That's my call. Trust the trend. Always. Not every time. The trend will continue, but more often than you ever thought. Trust the trend. Doesn't matter which time frame. Trust the trend. Really, try it. Or come to the Dow community. We will do it together. Trust that trend. You can trade successful, but you have to stick to the rules every time. Trust the trend. A trend continuation is more likely than a trend break. One of the 6 tenets of Charles Dow in the year 1873, when published the Dow theory. A trend continuation, like physicists, is always more likely than a trend break. So you can see now we tried to continue the trend to the upper side, but at the moment the movement broke up this movement, and now we struggled at the point of high. It's no wonder, because we are in unfair value price zone. You can see the point of control, because the point where take place the most balance of supply and demand, where is taking place here at the point of control. And in daily chart, the point of control is placed at 24,652 points. And now we are fighting very hard with the point of high right now. But the trend is still valid, and a trend continuation, even we are in the green zone at the moment, is more likely than a trend break. Let's switch to the hourly chart. So let's see. Okay. Next exercise. Try to draw the trend. Look at this one. I will do it for you, what I see. So you see, expert advisor, movement, correction, movement, correction. And now we have to figure out where's the next close below or above. It's an uptrend, of course, above this point 2. Not here, not here, but here. So you have to draw the trend to here right now. And then you can see movement, correction, and now the next movement. So, and now what we have right now, we had a trend break. Look at this one. We had a trend break here because we had a close. We had a close below that last point 3. So the trend broke here, and now we can draw the next trend. Let's see. Start at the highest point, movement, correction, movement. And now the trend tries to correct it here. Maybe we'll go up to the last point 2, and then we can continue to the lower side. At the moment, we have a downtrend. So let me ask you something. Can you follow my thoughts? Can you understand how I draw the trend? Can you see it in the right way like me? Type it in the chat box, please. Everybody, type it in the chat box, yes or no. It is understandable. Is it understandable what I try to explain to you? Thanks, Phil. Thanks, Thomas. So come on. Hank, thanks. Yeah, very much. It's such a pleasure to work with you wherever you are. Such a great pleasure. Yes. Okay. Thank you very much. So don't be shy. Don't be shy. We are a small community here. We can talk about everything. And if you have some questions, ask me. So I'm a normal guy like you. I fight with the trades every day like you. But we do it in the Know-how community. And very, very soon we have our own communities in every single country. Very soon. So, and you can see it's clear. And that's the exercise you should do every day in trading. And then you get your trust, and then you will have the trust and the confidence in trends, because it's so important that you can see the trends, that you work with the trends. You don't need any indicators or something else. You don't need that. You only need 2 informations. Just too much water, sorry. Too luck, Jesus Christ. Too stupid to drink out of the bottle here. Fuck. So, you don't need 2 information. You need the price and you need the trend. No more, no less. It's not a rocket science. You have to train it, and then you can trade in every time frame whatever you want. Always you have to take care about the bigger trend. The bigger trend should support you by a trend, by a divergence, or by support or resist. That's really easy. That's really important. But figure out and train it every day to draw your trend. Or come in our community, then we do it always together. So at the moment we have to wait decision, of course, and then we will see what will happen in the next hours. Okay, so next, do you have any questions about, or should we talk about a special market? So type it in chat box, not shares, only Forex or some indices. Do you have some special or preferred markets? We should talk about it, and you can type it in the chat box. And let's talk about a little bit at gold. Maybe you can see. First of all, look at this one. Let's start with daily chart. So let's see. So let's draw the trend. That's the daily chart right now. You can see it here. Let's draw the trend. I will show you. Look at this one. It's really easy to figure out what's the leading trend, the valid leading trend. Yes, after that we look at the US dollar, Canadian dollar, of course. So look at this one. Always start at the last point, at the deepest or the highest point. You see movement, correction. And to continue the trend, you always need a close in a long trend above the last point 2 here. We have 1, 2, 3, not 4, not 5, always next point 2, correction. And then figure out where's the next point, where's the next close. You can see here with that candle, that was the next close. So continue to draw, movement, correction. You can see we missed the symmetric here. We missed the symmetric here a little bit, but that's the market. But it's a trend continuation. It's a correction now. Next point, movement, correction, deepest point. Movement, highest point, correction, deepest point. Next movement you can see. And look at this one. We have 1, 2, 3, 4 times the trend continuation. Jesus Christ, guys, trust the trend. No more, no less. That's education. That's education and practice. Trust the trend and always try outcoming of the correction. And then you can see we had the trend break here right now. With that candle, we had the trend break here right now. And now we have to figure out where is the next leading trend right now. And here will help us the symmetrics. And when I talk about the symmetrics, I mean the high of the correction zones. Let me draw it for you. Look at this one. Or this one. This is the reference of the first correction zone, and that you have to copy and paste if it's possible. Look at this one. It's the same high, almost the same high. Look at this one. Not here, it's a little bit closer, but it's a part of the trend. But here you can see the next one is almost the same high like this one, like the previous one, and a little bit closer than the first two correction zones here. And now, look at this one. This is too small here. That's not a part of the leading trend. It's too small here. Look at this one. It's not a part of that leading trend. But you can see, here we are. Look at this one. It's almost the same high like this one, or this one, or this one, or this one. And now you can draw it in the same way. Movement, correction. And now what we have right now, we don't have a valid trend. And that's rule number 1. Never make a trend without a valid trend. Never make a trade without a valid trend. Rule number 1, you need a valid trend. That's really easy. What do you need for a valid trend? You need a close here. A close below that last point 2. You know? 1, 2, almost 3. That's the point 2. You see? 1, point 2, point 3, point 2, point 3, point 2, point 3, point 2, point 3. That's the way you count the trend. Point 2, point 3. And you see, it's really easy. It's not a rocket science. It's really easy. You can train it, you can learn it, but that's the basics of trading. That's the reason why we talk about education in Master the Markets and practice, practice, practice. And that's so important to figure out the leading trend. Aren't market patterns predictable? Don't you just love it? I don't work with patterns. They have, I guess they are important, but I'm a really easy guy. I love it to make it easy. That's the reason why I work with Heikin Ashi, because in Heikin Ashi I don't need patterns. Well, you know why? because I have two candles, trend continuation and balance candle, no more, no less. And now I know if I have a trend continuation candle, big body, big spike, it's a really strong trend. And if I have a balance candle, small body, a big shadow on the upper and the lower side, I know it's the balance in the market. I don't need more information. That's the reason, Vincenzo, make it as simple as possible. So there exist so many patterns in Japanese style and whatever. And it's sometimes overwhelming for your mind. And that's the reason. It's only just my own opinion. I know there exist a lot of patterns outside there. But in my opinion, I have 20 years right now no experience. And I figure out it's as easy as possible. Use it if you want it, but you will figure out there are more easier ways to make trades. Trend, price, and balance candle. Three things. That's not rocket science. So, but of course, patterns are predictable, but there exists too many of them. And I love to make it easy in chart, like in life as well. So if it's gonna be complicated, I'm out. I'm out of the game. Regarding any relationships or something else, you know. Okay, and now in another example here. So that's not easy. I will draw it for you like this one. Look at this one. So let's start with the lowest point. Movement, correction. Movement, correction. Movement. So could we see a close below that 0.3 here right now? Not really. Come on, let's face it. Not really. Yeah, it should be clear if we have a close or a close below or above the 0.3. So that means we have the next trend continuation here right now. Look at this one. And then we have the correction. And now we don't have a trend continuation here right now. You can see maybe this is the medium trend. And now we can figure out another trend, a smaller trend here included in that trend size. That means we have a smaller trend here right now. Movement, correction, movement, correction. Now you figure out there's the next close. Okay, next close is here. Correction. You see the same high like the first one. It's easy. It's amazing. It fits so often to each other. The symmetric of the correction zones. You see movement. And now we have a trend. Now we had a trend break here right now. And you can you can draw it in the next way from here, movement, correction, movement, and now we started the next correction. So now you know we have a short trend in our hourly chart and we are in a correction right now. That's really, really important to figure out where you are in the market. That's really, really important. So, and at least the proposal from Yanis, you wish, of course, US dollar, Canadian dollar. Let's see here. Let's start with the daily chart, okay? Let's see here. What do we have here right now? Let's draw it together. So let's start at the highest point. Movement, correction, movement. But you can see, oh my God, there was the last 0.3. There we had a trend break. So what do we have right now? Look at this one. Same movement, correction. And you can see the high of the correction zone is almost the same like in the downtrend. That's symmetric. So you can see that's the leading trend right now. So movement and correction. And look at this one. It's almost amazing. It's the same high Look at this one. It's almost the same high of the correction zone. That's your leading trend right now. So that's the reason maybe you can expect the trend continuation here right now to the upper side here, up here right now. So that's the first point. Especially maybe we will see a trend continuation to the upper side right now. But of course, we need the price information, where you are based on the price. Are we right now in a fair price zone or an unfair value price zone? So let's use the market profile indicator here right now. You can see here, and you can see, not really. We are very close to the point of control. You can see we are in a red zone. That means no trading ideas. Maybe we will see a trend continuation, maybe, but we are in the red zone. And there is no permission to make trades because it's already a fair price. So, and in hourly chart, of course, you have the same situation. You don't have a trend right now, maybe a downtrend, but you are in the red zone. So no trading idea there. Okay, guys, our time is unfortunately over. Let's have a last look on my lovely chart. Swiss franc, Japanese yen. Take this in your mind, guys. That's positive news. To become a successful trader is not a rocket science. It's taking place in your mind. And that's my job as a coach, to cope together with you this challenge in your mind. To make it alone is really, really difficult, and you will waste a lot of lifetime. Don't forget, guys, money you can always get back from the market. But your lifetime, you never will get 1 second of your lifetime. That's the reason why I always say, and I always try to tell you, don't waste your lifetime with seeking the Holy Grail or something other stupid things in trading. Take a coach, take a community, and then let's do it together. And that's the reason why I'm so happy that I can do that with Admiral Markets here together. And if you want to have a guide through the whole week, come into my community and let's do it together. Thank you guys for your lifetime. It was a great pleasure for me to have this webinar with you. Thanks to my colleague by Admiral Markets. Now I wish you a wonderful evening and maybe a great day wherever you are right now. And we will see you tomorrow, 11 German time, a short, quick webinar at 11 tomorrow by Admiral Markets, or maybe next week, or you will figure out your opportunities on my homepage, how-trading.com. Otherwise, we will see us next week. Thanks for your time, guys. Have a nice time. Take care about you. You know, your healthness and your family and friends are more important than trading. Stick to the rules and take care. Always be careful about your thoughts, because they are the beginning of your actions. Bye-bye and enjoy the rest of your day.